Alright, welcome back guys. So today we're going to cover lesson 4, which is multiplying rational numbers. Okay, so previously we looked at adding and subtracting. Now we're going to look at multiplying, and then in lesson 5 we're going to look at dividing. Okay, so multiplying and dividing work very much the same way as addition and subtraction work the very same way. So once you learn one, you should be able to do both. And I actually find this one a little bit simpler. Again, depends kind of how your brain is wired. You might be the opposite, but for me, this is what works. All right, so recall when multiplying integers, we use the following signals, right? So if we have an addition and an addition, like two positive numbers, we get a positive answer. If we have a negative and a negative, we end up with a positive answer. Okay, so if the signs are the same, positive, positive, negative, negative, I sometimes think of it as is the number of positive numbers even or odd. That will work if we have multiple terms, like more than two. Or if they're different, or there is an odd number, right, then we end up with a negative answer. So if the first number is negative, the second number is positive, we still end up with a negative answer because these signs are different, or there is an odd number of negatives in your answer. That's the way I like to think of it, okay? So when multiplying fractions, we first determine the sign of the product using the above rules. So just figure out if it's going to be a positive or negative answer first. You don't even have to crunch any numbers. Just look at how many positives, how many negatives, how that's going to work. And again, if you don't remember how that works, come talk to me. I'll get you some practice. It's quite simple, actually. Multiply the numerators together, top numbers. Multiply the denominators together, bottom numbers, and simplify and reduce the fraction. Okay. So once we have that, when we're multiplying decimals, we will have the same number of decimal places. In the product as in the question, right? So if we're doing decimals, so this is fractions up here, decimals down below. And again, we're going to be able to use our calculator. That'll be extra help for decimals, and it might even help you with fractions a bit. All right, so kind of let's get going with this and see where we end up. So we must write all mixed numbers as improper fractions before multiplying, okay? So if you have a mixed number, that's where you have the whole and then a fraction as well, we must go to an improper fraction first. But for this first example, that's not a problem, no worries, and we'll kind of get going. So step number 1 is figure out if it's a positive or a negative answer, okay? So here we have a negative times a positive, which we know will give us a negative answer, okay? Then what we're going to do is simply multiply the numerators, so 5 times 3 is equal to 15, and then down below we have 12 times 4, which is 48. Okay, at the end of this, we're going to plug in our numerator, our denominator, and our sign. And that's our answer. But, of course, we're going to simplify things. And so both of these can be divided by 3 over 3. And our true final answer is going to be 5 over 16. And we can't simplify that any farther. Okay? One trick I'm going to quickly show you guys as well, okay? And this works in most cases, is cross-canceling. And this works when we're multiplying or dividing. We have to make sure we flip it first, but same thing. All right, so here when we had 5 over 12 times, I'll just do times 3 over 4. Okay, if you have numbers that are multiples, like common factors, you can divide them by the same number diagonally and cancel them out, right? And so here, 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay? Then you, same thing, multiply across. So 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 4 is 16. Don't forget your negative sign. And we end up with that simplified same answer. This cross-canceling is a super handy trick because now you're not multiplying big numbers. Not that 12 times 4 is the end of the world, right? But now you have to figure out, well, what's 48 and 15? Do they have anything in common, right? Which, for me, especially when I'm like, oh, let's just get this homework done, I'm not thinking of that, right? And especially if I ask you to simplify your answers, which I didn't hear, but if I were to ask, I would take some marks off if you didn't simplify. All right, so let's go to this next problem. I'll move this up so it's a little bit easier to see, and then we will get going. All right, so here we have 2 2/3 times negative 1 3/4. Okay, so same thing, we have a positive times a negative, and so our answer will be negative. All right, then we have to take our mixed numbers to improper fractions, and so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so 3 times 2 plus 2 equals 6 plus 2, so 8. So we end up with 8 over 3, okay, times 4 times 1, I'll do that over here, 4 times 1 plus 3 is equal to 7, okay? And so that's going to be times 7 over 4. Now, same thing with this cross-canceling trick. 3 and 7 don't have anything in common, can't do anything there. But 4 and 8, 4 can be divided by 4, which is 1. 8 can be divided by 4, 2. Now, we end up multiplying across, so 2 times 7 is 14, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, don't forget your negative. Okay. The only thing here is we do have to go back to our mixed fraction, because especially if I ask you to simplify it, I expect that to go back to a mixed fraction. Okay, so 3 goes into 14 4 times, don't forget your negative, and we're left over with 2 over 3, and it doesn't get any smaller than that. All right, let's move it on. The decimals, okay? So here, again, you can go long multiplication, all of that. I would recommend using a calculator here. It's going to be quite easy. But I do want you to show how you would set up your equation if you were to do it by hand. So here, again, we have a positive times a negative. And so our answer will be negative, just so you don't forget. Also, this is a good trick to have. If you punch things into your calculator, maybe you forgot a negative, and you're like, oh, my answer was supposed to be negative. It's a good fail-safe. It kind of stops you from making those, so to speak, silly mistakes, right? Might not seem silly at the moment, especially if you're not getting the marks. You're like, ah, this is so stupid. But you guys aren't stupid. You're all awesome. Okay, so anyway, our answer will be negative. Here we would go 0.8 times negative 3.4, okay? And that'll give us some sort of an answer. Now, if we remember from up top in our kind of beginning notes, if we multiply two numbers, two decimals, right, we'll have the same number of decimals in our answer. So here we had one number after the decimal, we had another number after the decimal, 1 plus 1 is 2. I think we all got that, okay? And so at the end, we will end up with negative 2.72. Again, I would do this in the calculator, way easier, less chance of making a little mistake, and I will allow you to use the calculators because honestly, in the real world, I'm never going to go 8/10 times negative 3.4 and try and do it on a piece of paper unless my phone died. So we've done enough practice with that. Okay, all right, so last example we have going on here is example 4. Sorry, I lied. We have 2 more examples. So we have example 4 and an example 5. Okay, but Janine is making pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving dinner. Each pie requires 2 3/4 cups of sugar. If she makes 3 pies, how much sugar will she need? All right, so this is going to be 1 pie equals 2 3/4. Okay, 2 3/4, and if she's making 3 pies, so we're going to multiply these, so times 3. Okay, I'm going to flip to the next page because we have a little more room to work, and we'll go from there. There we go. All right. So, 2 3/4 times 3. All right. So here, first thing we want to do, right, is go positive times positive. The signs are the same. There's no negatives, so our answer will be positive. Okay. Then we go from a mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So 4 times 2 plus 3 is equal to 8 plus 3, 11. So 11 over 4. Oh, wait, but this is only 3. Oh, wait, any rational number can be put over 1. Okay, so here we end up with this times 3 over 1. Multiply our numerators. 11 times 3 is 33. And multiply our denominators. 4. Good. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is simplify, right? So 34 goes into 33 8 times. If you're not sure, you can use your calculator to help you out. And the remainder is 1 over 4. Okay. If it's a word problem, I would recommend writing your answer as a word statement. So here we can go, Janine needs 8 1/4 cups of sugar to make 3 pints. Done. I'll ignore the big technical difficulty. All right, so last couple problem. Well, it's one problem split into 3 parts. So we're going to finish this up, and then we are done for the day. Congratulations, guys. You're almost there. Thanks for hanging in. Okay, so the first thing we have is a transit bus company has a budget of $45,876 to repaint 34 buses. Each bus will cost $3,244.57 to repaint. Wow, that's a lot of numbers, a lot of decimals. Things are getting messy. That's all right. We have a calculator. We can do this. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is write a multiplication sentence to determine how much it will cost to repaint. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we have 34 buses, okay, and each bus will cost $3,244.57, okay, to paint. So we need to multiply that number, and we will see. Okay, so this is our statement, our sentence, and now we're going to actually put our answer down here. So in total, it will cost $110,315 $110,315.38. I did that all in my head, obviously. Use your calculator, please. Okay, and at the end of the day, we have to answer our final statement. Does the company have enough money to repaint the buses? No, they are very short on this. Somebody did not budget very well this year. So no, they do not have enough money. All right, great job. See you guys in class. Have a good day.